Welcome to part 2 of the AFJ Law Group's Small Business Bootcamp, talking about the top 5 most commonly filed lawsuits against small business owners. If you missed part 1, take a look. It's in our videos on our channel. It talks about employment discrimination suits as well as discrimination suits filed by customers and non-employees. Part 2 is going to focus on claims surrounding wage loss, and this is a really important topic because often these claims are not covered under a general liability insurance policy. So if you're a small business owner, you want to listen up to make sure you're not at risk for being a defendant in one of these lawsuits. Let's get started. Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm attorney Alexis Johnson of AFJ Law Group PLLC. And as I said at the beginning, this is part 2 of a 3-part series talking about the top 5 most commonly filed lawsuits against small business owners. Now, it's impossible to predict every type of lawsuit that a small business owner may face, but these are lawsuits that we business attorneys see frequently enough to know that most business owners are at risk of being involved at one at some point. Let's go through the top 5 and then we'll hone in on today's video, which is about wage loss claims. The top 5 most commonly filed lawsuits against small business owners are discrimination against workers, discrimination against customers, wage loss claims, tort claims, and breach of contract disputes. Part 2 of the Small Business Bootcamp will focus on wage loss claims. As a small business owner, if you're facing a wage loss claim, the allegation is typically that there was a violation of federal, state, or local wage law. These laws collectively are known as wage and hour laws. In a wage and hour lawsuit, there are typically 2 claims that could be made. First, an employee may allege that they were not paid minimum wage. Second, an employee may allege that they were not paid overtime. An employee may also allege that they were not paid overtime because they were misclassified as an independent contractor. It's really important to keep documentation as to employee status because these claims can get out of hand quickly and they are often not covered by insurance. Having a basic understanding of the Michigan Workforce Opportunity Wage Act is helpful for small business owners. The Act establishes the minimum wage that Michigan workers must be paid. Currently, the minimum wage in Michigan is $9.65 an hour. The Act also governs record keeping and has rules for overtime. Specifically, employees who work more than 40 hours in a single work week must be paid overtime of at least 1.5 times their regular pay rate. This means that the minimum overtime pay in Michigan is $14.48 per overtime hour. There are 2 general categories of workers: non-exempt and exempt. Non-exempt workers are eligible for overtime pay, while exempt workers are not. And that's why it's so important to follow appropriate documentation and record-keeping policies to properly classify your workers. The best way to avoid a wage loss claim is to be proactive at the onset, working with your local business attorney to ensure that you have a solid understanding of the wage and overtime laws and that their requirements are being upheld by your company is key. It's also helpful if you have contracts and offer letters drafted so when you do bring on new employees, the relationship is clearly established and minimizes confusion. Next week, we'll continue with part 3 of our Small Business Bootcamp talking about tort claims and breach of contract disputes. But if you have questions in the meantime, please feel free to reach out. My team is ready to help. We can be reached at afjlawgroup.com. Please also like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can continue to receive informative legal videos like this one. Thank you.